A lot of my friends are black people.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Celebrity Big Brother recap, review, rant, whatever you want to call these. In this video, I'll be talking about days 1 through 5. So like launch night, that's like day 1, I guess, all the way up to day 5 where they did evictions, which happened last night for me. We'll be talking about that. The video is going to be long, so, you know, I hope you're ready for that. Or what I might do is I might upload like days 1, 2, and 3 in one video, and then 3 and 4 in a different video, or 1, 2 in one video, and 3, 4, 5 in a different video. Or I'll probably just upload it all at once in one video. I don't know yet, but yeah, days 1 through 5 right here. Let's go. Okay, so launch night, all the way back on, let's get in our time machine. So it's launch night. We see Sally and Rodrigo. They're out talking, and Rodrigo's asking her about her psychic stuff, and like, if she did a reading on him, would she be able to talk to his family members, because his family members don't speak English. And she says that she has been known to speak different languages at random. So that's pretty interesting. Natalie rips her dress apart and she hops in the hot tub with Rodrigo.
Woo! Oh, she's beautiful.
Natalie and Chloe, they're in the living room. Natalie is asking Chloe about her kidnapping and stuff. And Natalie goes, so were they cute? And she's like, no, they were fucking ugly or something. And she talks about it more. She's like, yeah, both of the people who were involved in the kidnapping, they're both in jail now. Like, I guess her agent was involved, and the people who actually kidnapped her or something those were the two guys or something. So, I mean, I believe her now. Like, I fully believe her now that she was kidnapped. But on launch night, I was just like, I don't know. Because people were saying she was making it up, but I believe her now. I believe her now. So then they opened the bedrooms.
This is Big Brother. The bedroom is now open.
Oi, oi, Rudy!
There was some kind of situation with the bedrooms. I'm not sure. I think Roxanne wanted her own bed or something. I can't remember all the way back then. So then a little bit later, President Kirstie Alley and Vice President Ryan Thomas, they get called into the diary room, and they are told that they must issue out 3 presidential orders, right? The first one is a climate change bill. The second one is a healthcare bill. And the third one is a foreign trade deal. So the first one, the climate change, basically they have to assign one housemate to have cold showers for a couple of days. They choose Ben because he's high energy. They said his energy level is so high that he won't even notice. For the second presidential order, which is the healthcare bill, they have to pick a housemate who can only drink green liquidized vegetable drinks. They choose Dan because he's, they figure that he's good with juicing and stuff like that. So Dan has to drink green juice for like 2 days. And then finally, the foreign trade deal, they have to pick a housemate to swap their suitcases with a member of a foreign country, or okay. They choose Rodrigo because he can speak 6 languages. I'm not sure what the logic was, but they choose Rodrigo to have his suitcase taken, and then now Rodrigo has to like wear some crazy outfit.
Hello.
So it's like at night now, still launch night. Nick Leeson is talking to Ben in the garden, and he's telling him Ben's like asking him about his crimes and like, you know, all the ins and outs and all this stuff. Ben sounded like he was like ready to go rob a bank. He was like trying to get tips or something. But Nick Leeson was saying, why do I have to say his last name? Nick was saying that he basically stole the equivalent. He stole 862 million pounds, right? Now, when he says this on TV, he says it so cavalier. It's like, oh, 862 million pounds. Yeah. You know, like it's nothing. But if you really think about 862 million pounds, that's a lot of fucking money. I put that into the Google converter thing to see how many US dollars that would be. 862 million pounds is equal to $1.1 billion, okay? He he fucking stole $1.1 billion. If you listen, he says that he was sentenced to 6.5 years, which is nothing for $1.1 billion. He only got 6.5 years. If this were if he had done that in America, he would still be in the prison. He would rot away in the prison. He would die in the prison. He would have not ever gotten out of the prison. He would still be in prison. He would have had like a life sentence. Okay, so that's basically all that happened in day one. It was a short night. It was only a night. It wasn't a full day. So day two. Okay. Day two starts off with Kirstie Alley. She's like obsessed with the bathroom and bathroom etiquette, bathroom manners, how to tell if the bathroom is occupied, how to tell if it's vacant. She's giving a lesson on poopery, which is like the spray that you spray down in the toilet bowl before you take a shit, and it like wraps around the shit. Then we see Sally a little bit later. She's in the kitchen talking to, talking to the housemates, and she starts talking to Ryan, and she's like, Ryan, you have a son, don't you? Yeah, I can tell you're gonna have another one.
I'm not a fortune teller, but if I've got someone in front of me...
Yeah.
Look, the cup. Tell me what to see.
Oh, yeah, well...
So then Natalie comes around and she's like asking President Kirstie Alley about what Trump should do with the Flint, Michigan water crisis over in Flint, Michigan. And Kirstie Alley kind of brushes it off. She doesn't really answer the question. She's like, oh, she kind of plays dumb. She's like, oh, is that what's happening? Oh, she acts like she don't know what's happening. Natalie is kind of this season's Courtney Act. If you remember last season or last series, Courtney Act would always be going to Anne and, throw out some hot topic issue and then say, Anne, what do you think about that, Anne? We can see Natalie's kind of doing the same thing with Kirstie, like throwing out these hot topic issues and then being like, so Kirstie, what do you think about that? Because if you didn't know, Kirstie Alley, why can't I say her fucking name? If you didn't know, Kirstie Alley is a Republican and she voted for Donald Trump. So, that's like a huge deal to Natalie, and we'll get more on that later. Does anyone care about Dan and these green smoothies? Because I fucking don't. I don't care that he's throwing up from them. I don't care that he has to drink them. I don't care at all about that at all. So then a little bit later, the president and the vice president, Kirstie and Ryan, gather everyone in the living room because they have an announcement to make. They're going to have an inaugural ball, which is, just a party. They're going to have a party later. But in order to attend this party, the housemates must sacrifice their most expensive possession in order to raise taxes for the party, or just in general, just to raise taxes. And if the shit that they donate is a certain amount, if they reach that certain dollar amount or pound amount, they'll get to go to the party. And if they don't reach it, then they won't have the party. So they all go around, they all sacrifice an item. Chloe donates her 1,000-pound sunglasses. Nick donates his 5,000-pound wedding ring. Natalie donates a 25-cent tube of toothpaste. Roxanne donates a tampon, also probably not worth very much. Jermaine donates his 1,000-pound Louboutins.
It's expensive. These is red bottoms.
Dan donates his 800-pound suit. Gabby donates her 1.5 thousand Louboutins.
These is bloody shoes.
Hardeep donates his suit, which is worth 2.5 thousand. Ben donates some shoes. I missed how much they were worth. And Sally donates her 5,000-pound jacket. That must be some couture fucking one-of-a-kind Parisian shit right there. Handmade couture. They only needed to raise 5,000 in taxes. Sally's jacket alone was worth 5,000, so they met the goal. They raised 17,802 pounds, so they went far above and beyond what they needed to do. So they win the party. So it's a little bit later at night. During the party, Hardeep and Kirstie are out in the garden and they're talking more, American politics and stuff. And they're talking about the crime rate and, the problem in Chicago with like cops fucking killing all the black kids every day and like nothing ever gets reported. And it's just like, it really is it's a huge fucking problem in just so many parts of the country, and it's huge, and it's like bipartisan and it can't be solved by one person, and you know. So Hardeep is just kind of quizzing her because she is the spokesperson for the Republican Party in that house. She just is. There's only 2 Americans in there, and Natalie damn sure ain't no Republican. You're going to be the spokesperson naturally. You're the only one in there. You got to represent for Republicans, you know. So that's just what it is. All right, day 3. Wow, we're kind of moving along here, aren't we? I thought this video was going to be longer than what I was intending. So day 3 begins the first day of the shopping task, so they can get their food and shit. So what Kirsty and Ryan, the president and vice president, have to do is they have to appoint one housemate to be the head of defense. This person is going to lead the housemates into building a wall to stop the intruders from coming over. They choose Nick. They choose Nick to be the head of defense because he is good at walls. He's been locked behind walls for 4.5 years, so he knows a thing or two about walls. That's their logic. So then Natalie, she, you know, starts picking Kirsty's brain again, and she's like, so Kirsty, do you think that we should actually build a wall in America to, you know, stop the Mexican border and the American border? And Kirsty's like, well, what do you think, you know? You can tell Kirsty's getting fed up at this point, which it is understandable, okay? I'm not sympathizing with fucking a Trump supporter here. That's not what I'm doing, but I can see how if everyone is like, I can see how that would get on her nerves. I can see that, you know what I mean? But you have to be strong enough in your convictions and in your party and to be able to answer the questions, you know, at the same time. So then they start building the wall. We see them out in the garden starting to build the wall. It has an American flag on it. And Natalie is just not here for that. She's like, I don't want to build this wall with an American flag on it. She's like, she's not for that. She's really not about that life. You know, she's just being a good democratic American, that Natalie. And you can't really be mad at her for that. She said she wasn't going to help build the wall, but she still helped. They showed a little montage. She was still helping out. So she still was a team player. She was reluctant, but she was still helping out. So they complete the wall. The housemates finish building the wall. It looks great. Everything looks great, except for one piece. Nick, the leader of the head of the defense, the leader of the wall thing, he gets called into the diary room, and Big Brother is like, you missed a piece. We're going to give you 5 more minutes, but you need to go and fix that piece before you can pass this part of the task. So they go down, he goes back down, and he tells them they don't feel like finding out the missing piece, which I feel them, because all the pieces were there. It was just like one was not turned right, or it was weird. It was like a puzzle. One of the pieces wasn't there, even though it was there, it just wasn't filled in right, but nothing else was missing. So it's not like you could like switch and be like, oh, put that piece there and put that one there. It was like, it was weird how one piece was missing. So what they decided to do was just go and get lipstick and just color in the brick that needed the red flag part on it that was missing. They just colored it in with red lipstick, and of course they failed the task because that's cheating. So yeah. So the next part of the task for the shopping task, and it still involves the wall, and what they have to do is they have to get in pairs. The housemates have to get in pairs, and they have to basically, they're border patrol. They have to make sure no intruders jump over the wall that they just built to steal green cards illegally. So the first intruder who tries to come over the wall is Trump. Oh my God. So Trump tries to come over the wall. He's wearing like this fucking huge mask thing. He looks so crazy.
Ah! Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him!
He got the card. They did not stop Donald Trump from stealing the green card, so what are you gonna do? The next person who tries to come over the wall is Melania Trump, Donald Trump's wife, our first lady. So she tries to come over the wall. Danny and Rodrigo, they stopped that bitch. She did not get the green card. They were like, you ain't coming over this wall, bitch.
Go!
Well done.
Jermaine and Chloe are the next pair that have to defend the wall. This time, the queen tries to jump over the wall. But Chloe hits the alarm in time, and the queen was unsuccessful in grabbing a green card. Then Hillary Clinton comes over the wall, and she successfully grabs a green card. Jermaine and Chloe did not stop Hillary Clinton. That's kind of the end of the task for that day. I completely forgot that I did not talk about Rodrigo saying the N-word. I completely skipped that, which was on night one. So basically, here's what happened. I'll try to remember from my just memory. It was Rodrigo on the bed, and he was kikiing with the girls. It was Natalie, Gabby, Chloe, and like maybe someone else, or maybe it was just them three. Those three girls and Rodrigo. I think it was like Chloe, Gabby, Natalie, and then Rodrigo. And they were just on the bed talking about, they were actually talking about Dan. And, you know, they were like, ooh, he's so fine. Look at that body, blah, 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 blah. And Natalie asked Gabby if they fucked before. And Gabby says he's married, which is not an answer. And so they kind of laugh, blah, 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 blah. They move on. And then Dan walks over and he's like, were y'all talking about me? And Rodrigo's like, no, you're not my type anyway. And then they kind of start asking Rodrigo, so like, what is your type? What type of guys are you into? And Rodrigo's like, I like nigga boy. And then he like laughed. And then Natalie's like, oh my God, oh God. They're like, what kind of boy do you like? He's like, I like a nigga boy. Okay, yikes. If I'm being completely real, it didn't really bother me. It didn't really fucking bother me. I thought it was kind of funny. If this was at my house, right, and I had friends over and we were just hanging out, gossiping, chilling, I had the girls over, Rodrigo was over, you know, we were just, you know, spilling tea, you know, chit-chatting, blah, 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 blah. And he said that, I wouldn't be mad at all. I would laugh and, you know, it's, you know, it's really not a fucking big deal, okay? For him to say it. Hold up, don't fucking come for me. I would have laughed and like, oh, Rodrigo, you're so silly, you're so dumb, ha ha ha, whatever. Not a big deal, okay? If that were my house, or if I was out somewhere, you know, at his house, or, you know, at a party setting, at a group setting, it wouldn't have been a big deal. And that's kind of what it was. It was kind of a relaxed, chill moment with the girls. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can talk about things that are kind of off limits when you're with your girls, you know what I'm saying? That's not an excuse, though. I'm not giving him an excuse. I'm not saying that, oh, well, that's fine. Anyone could say that word as long as you're tipsy and having a good time. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, like, in that context, it's so difficult. It's so tricky to talk about. It's so tricky. In that context, it didn't bother me personally like that much, okay? I found it funny. Maybe wherever the fuck he grew up, maybe in Brazil, that's not a big deal to say the N-word down there, maybe. And also, if we're really gonna break it down,
my dad is Brazilian, but actually I'm British. All my documents are fucking British.
He said his dad is Brazilian and that his mom is British or whatever. So I'm assuming white. His mom's white and his dad's Brazilian. What does Brazilian even look like? Brazilian could be super light skinned with like blue eyes and, you know, fair white skin, or you could look like me and be Brazilian. There are Brazilian people who look like me.
Ser negro no Brasil.
Lutar para derrubar os preconceitos.
Eu como negro, eu acho que eu como negro, é claro, eu gosto da minha cor. Entendeu? Tenho muito orgulho.
So for all we know, Rodrigo's dad could be part black. Rodrigo could be part black for all we know. And that might not have, the N-word that might not have even been a bad thing for him to say growing up. You know, that might have been something he said because he could be part black for all we know. And I'm not saying he is. I don't know what his dad looks like, but we just don't know. And like, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna be 100% real. I'm gonna be 100% fucking real. If that had been a white housemate who was from the UK or from the United States, if that had been Kirstie Alley or Gabby or Dan or Ben, a white housemate, okay, who was born and grew up in a Western, you know, country where you just know not to say those words, and they said that, I would not be sitting here saying, oh, maybe let's just give him a pass this one time. I wouldn't be sitting here saying that if there had been someone like that. But because it was Rodrigo, we don't know his ancestry and shit. We don't know his... I'm just going to let it slide this one time. He got the formal warning. Do I want him to be kicked out over it? No, I don't. But if Big Brother had decided that he should have been evicted for that, I would have been like, well, he shouldn't have said it. You know, he shouldn't have said the N-word. But Big Brother felt that it wasn't serious enough for him to be evicted. He did get the formal warning. And if he says it again, he's out. So it just, I'm just being real. I'm just being real, y'all. Like, it didn't bother me that much. I'm just being completely real. Am I a hypocrite? Sure, fine, whatever, fuck me, but I'm just being real. Anyways, day 4. So it's the next day of the shopping task, and they still have to defend the wall. Ben and Roxanne are the next pair who have to defend the wall, and Vladimir Putin tries to come over the wall, and they hit the buzzer before he could get the green card. Rodrigo and Nick are the next pair to defend the wall. Kim Jong-un tries to come over the wall, but again, Rodrigo fucking...
Good, get there!
Like, gets over there, boy, and he hits that buzzer. Kim Jong-un does not get no green card, and he does not get to come over the wall. Next is Prince Charles and Camilla. Prince Charles gets the card, but Camilla, like, didn't even try. So the task is over. The shopping task is over. They failed both parts of the shopping task. So they failed the shopping task. So they have to eat basic rations for the next week. So Rodrigo, he's feeling pretty down about this. I think Rodrigo was really trying to get the food. So it's a little bit later on in the day. Some people are out in the sun. They're like laying out in the sun, tanning and stuff. Natalie is out there. And she's out there with some of the other housemates. And she is just going in on Hardeep's cooking. She's like, he made some French fries. They were fucking still frozen. They weren't cooked all the way through. They were oily. She was talking about how his food is making her have to shit. And Rodrigo was like, yeah, I'm constipated. And she's like, well, keep eating Hardeep's food. And I mean, she's just going in on Hardeep and his cooking. And I'm like, girl, you can't be doing that. When someone is cooking for you, you can't be talking shit about their cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like, either you got to cook your own food or you can't be talking about people's cooking, especially when they're cooking for the whole fucking house. Like, what are you cooking for everyone? You know what I'm saying? A little bit later, Natalie and Hardeep, they kind of have a conversation about what she was talking about in the garden. Hardeep's cooking, and like, she's like, have you ever even asked anyone else if they've wanted to cook and stuff? And he's like, no, not really. So this kind of leads him to get up and go ask the other housemates if anyone else wants to cook. Should he step out of the kitchen and let other people, you know, take over the kitchen? And they're all like, no, we fucking want you to cook. Keep cooking. Like, don't listen to Natalie. She's being a whiny bitch. Keep cooking. Keep doing your thing. So then we get this dumb part of the thing with Kirsty and Ryan, president and vice president. They're in the Oval Office. And they're talking about biscuits. And it's like, so... It's so stupid. How old are they? They're like in their 30s and Kirsty's like in her 60s. Don't we know now that British people call cookies biscuits? Don't we know that? And what we call biscuits are like scones to them. Essentially, they're scones. Our biscuits are their scones and their biscuits are our cookies. Don't we know that by now? Like, it was so dumb. They both acted like they didn't know what each other was talking about. I'm like, y'all are too old and too educated to not fucking know. Come on. It was so stupid. So then what had happened was Sally, right? She's out in the garden with the other housemates and she's giving like a little reading. Sally, I will say, she looked really, I liked her little sweater with her little glasses. She looked really like an adorable little grandma right there. So she's giving a reading to Chloe. She's like, did you ever consider changing your name or something like that? Very specific question, like very specific. Not like, oh, does your mom's name begin with an M or something? Like, did you ever have thoughts about changing your name? And Chloe just, she starts to speak. She's like,
I was... So...
Listen to me. Come here. Come here. Oh.
It was crazy. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, what just happened? So I guess the story is that after Chloe's kidnapping, she was talking to her mom and she was just like wondering, should I change my name? Should I even move back? Should I live somewhere else? Should I do this? You know, And so Sally picked up on that, or her psychic vision told her or something. I don't know. I think the easiest thing for here to say is that obviously Sally did her Googling, did some research before she got in the house, because she saw the list just like everyone else. So she looked everyone else up. That's probably the most plausible answer to that. I don't know. It's very weird. And then she turns to Dan, and then she's like, has your friend ever like tried to jump off a building? Or like very specific questions, not like vague questions like, ooh, I'm sensing a blue energy. No, she's like, did your best friend when you were this age years old ever jump off a fucking building? Like, how would she know that? You know what I'm saying? So she obviously did a little Bing.com, AskJeeves.com, little Google.com before she went into the house. Day 5 and the last day of this review is the nomination day. But before we get to the nominations, Gabby, she's out in the garden and she's leading a workout with the boys. And let me just say, Nick Leeson, the old man, he is kind of getting it for like an old man. He's out there keeping up with the young boys, doing the workouts. They're like rolling over, doing arm things, and then they're going down and then like coming up and doing ab things. He's getting it. So then we see Rodrigo and he's talking to Kirsty and he's kind of quizzing her about the Scientology stuff. You know, Rodrigo, he has this like innocence to him where like if he says he doesn't know something, he probably really doesn't know something, which is another reason why I kind of gave him the pass on the N-word, because I feel like he probably really didn't know that you ain't supposed to say that word in public on camera with a microphone on you. I really don't think he just, you know, he's kind of, you know what I mean? So again, he's asking Kirsty about the Scientology stuff. And this is interesting. My phone, when I typed in Scientology, auto-corrected it with the capital S. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, she's not trying to answer no questions about Scientology. He's like, so like, what is it? She's like, well, I think the best way that you can figure out Scientology is if you just read a book on it, you know? And it's like, bitch, ain't nobody got time to read no motherfucking book. Just tell me what Scientology is. You're sitting right here. You're a member of the Scientology church. Just tell me, like, no judgment. Just tell me, come on. And it's Rodrigo. He's not gonna judge. Like, come on. Tom Cruise is like involved with it apparently. John Travolta, who she knows, is involved with it. Like the very rich of the rich are like involved in Scientology. I'm not sure what the fuck exactly it is. She's not really trying to talk about it. Maybe she can't talk about it. She might not be allowed to talk about it because of, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But so then Chloe and Hardeep are in the bathroom, and I thought this was a very, very interesting scene right here. You know, Hardeep is just kind of asking Chloe about her page 3 glamour model stuff, and you know, she's answering everything fully, honestly. She tells him that, you know, she even has a kid and stuff, which I had no idea. I had no idea she had a child. You know, they just keep talking and stuff, and he starts asking about her dad, and she's like, yeah, I haven't known my dad. He left when I was a baby. I never knew my dad and stuff. And he just starts crying. Like, he starts crying, and I got it. I got exactly, as soon as he started crying, I was like, oh, I totally get it. It's, what it was, well, what I interpreted was that, like, he, you know, he's an old man. He has a child. He said he has a daughter who is her age, who is Chloe's age. You know, he's probably just looking at her, and Roxanne was also in the bathroom, who was also probably, I think is the same age as, they're both kind of the same age. I think he was looking at them like, wow, you guys are smart, beautiful, like, you're amazing people. You're in the Big Brother house. You're in Celebrity Big Brother, and like, your dad isn't in your life. That's sad. You know, it is sad. And I think he was crying because of that. It hit him because he has a daughter that age, and I think he was just putting himself in their father's shoes or something. You know, it was, I got it. It's hard to explain, but I did get it, which is, in a little bit, we're going to see during nominations why this was so interesting to me. So then, like, a little bit later, Gabby goes in the fucking bathroom and she starts crying to all the boys about Natalie, and she's mean, basically. She's a bully, basically, is what she's saying. She's intimidating because of what she said and how she called me out and stuff like that. Okay, so then we finally get to nominations, right? Gabby goes first. She nominates Natalie and Rodrigo. Hardeep goes next. He nominates Natalie because of the cooking stuff, what he said about her cooking, that she made Gabby cry, and because he felt attacked because of her talking about his snoring, and Hardeep also nominates Sally. We cut back to the house where all the housemates are being held as they're like one by one going into the diary room to give nominations. And then Natalie goes, can we just like all go around the room real quick and everyone could just say what their storm was and why they're in the house really quick? Can we just do that really quick? No. You've had day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4 to go around and get to know everyone, to talk to everyone on a one-on-one setting or in a group setting, whatever context she wants to get to know people. She had 4 days to go and do that, and she didn't do it. So that's on her to not find out what people's storms was. And also, when she says this, Ryan Thomas, I don't know why I say his last name, Ryan was like, well,
I don't understand what the storm's got to do with the eviction.
And I'm like, yeah, what does that have to do with nominations? Your nominations are supposed to be based off your time in the house, not shit that happened before the house. Also, half the people already went and nominated. So who was this benefiting to go around the room and to say what their storm was? That's only benefiting you. Some people already went nominated. So that's obviously not a criteria for everyone. That's only your shit, which you should have went and fucking figured out. I didn't agree with that at all, saying, can we all spill our tea right before we have to go nominate? No, you had 4 days to do that shit. And it's not even important to everyone else. It's only important to her. So no, I didn't like that. Then Jermaine goes next. Jermaine shouldn't even be allowed to nominate because Jermaine got the pardon from Kirstie Alley. And he's safe this week, so he shouldn't even be allowed to nominate. But he nominated Natalie and Hardeep. Kirstie nominated Natalie and Rodrigo. She said it was because he was not really helpful enough around the house, but that's bullshit. She nominated Rodrigo because Rodrigo asked her about Scientology. Natalie nominates Hardeep because of the cooking stuff, he snores, and because of the way he looks at her. And she also nominates Kirstie because she doesn't want to answer any of the questions and she's fake. Nick nominates Kirstie because she's isolated from the group, and he also nominates Chloe. Rodrigo nominates Gabby and Hardeep. Roxanne nominates Hardeep and Natalie. Roxanne nominated Hardeep, and her reason was that he made comments about her absent dad and that he crossed the line there. Really? I thought he was like kind of having an emotional moment right there. I didn't know you were gonna like throw that and use that against him for nominations, but she did. Ryan nominates Chloe and Natalie. Sally nominates Hardeep and Rodrigo. I don't know if I already said Chloe's nomination, but Chloe nominated Nick because he doesn't talk to her and stuff. And Hardeep, which I thought was so interesting because they just had like this super emotional conversation. I learned so much. I learned more about her in that conversation than her whole time in the house so far. And it was because of Hardeep. It was because of Hardeep asking these questions. And I thought it was weird that she would nominate him because of that. And I thought they were bonding. I thought they were cool, and I thought they were bonding, and it's just weird that she went and then nominated her. She went and nominated him, and she said that she felt that he was judging her. And I was like, that's not what I picked up on at all. I did not get those vibes that he was judging her at all, you know? So I thought that was really, really weird nomination. So anyway, Natalie ends up with 8 nominations. Hardeep has 6 nominations. Rodrigo has 3. Chloe, Kirstie, they both have 2. Gabby, Nick, Roxanne, Ryan, and Sally all have 1. Ben and Dan both received no nomination. So Natalie and Hardeep are both up for eviction this week. I'm not surprised by those two being up at all. At all. If you've been watching the show, they've been like the main, you know, kind of conflict so far in the house. There hasn't really been a conflict, not really, but I guess if you had to classify something as a conflict, it would be coming from those two. Let's be real. Okay, Natalie and Hardeep is going home. They are not about to vote out Natalie. That ain't happening. You know, they love her. People love her. The British people, you know, you can get on Twitter and see that she's very well liked for her entertainment values. Hardeep, he is bringing like good intellectual conversations, and I really did like that conversation he had with Chloe and Roxanne in the bathroom. I really like that. But if we're just gonna compare entertainment value wise, come on, Natalie is gonna stay. Okay, she's gonna stay. So that's it. That's basically everything. I got through it quicker than I thought I was gonna get through it, but this is still a long video. I don't know how, when I edit it, what it's gonna be, but thank you as always for watching. Please leave a comment. I want to hear what you guys have to think about, like the Natalie Hardeep situation, the Hardeep and Chloe bathroom situation. Like, why do you think Chloe nominated Hardeep? Kirstie Alley, what are your thoughts? Who do you want to win? Who's your favorite? I still don't have a favorite personally. I don't know who I want to win. I always have a favorite, but I still don't have a favorite yet. I don't know what it is. I'm liking the season so far. I'm kind of getting annoyed every time I hop on Twitter. Someone's like, oh, this is just like Baby 6. Oh my God, this is like Baby 7. This is like Baby 5. Stop comparing it to the fucking past, Big Brothers, please. Let this season be its own. Let this series be its own series. You're bringing it down when you have to compare it to like old shit. You're bringing this season down. Like, this season can stand on its own. It doesn't need to be compared to Baby 5, Baby 4, Baby 3, Baby 2, Baby, you know, it's his own thing. Like, so yeah, I'm liking the season so far. That's all. Thanks for watching, and